Welcome to Smoky Ribs Barbecue. I'm Russ Jones. In today's video, I'm going to be doing some snack sticks, smoked snack sticks. Going to show you a brand new smoker. We're going to get started with this right after this.
If you wanna cook backyard barbecue till you get your feel, you come to the right place. Russ Jones Smoky Ribs. Smoky Ribs. Smoky Ribs.
All right, let me do a little walk around of this really nice smoker right here. This is going to be my sausage smoker. This is going to be for hanging bacon. This is going to be for a lot of things. Now keep in mind, this smoker can also do a brisket. It can do ribs. It's an electric smoker. Now, electric is ideal for sausage because you can really dial in those low temps that you need and do that incremental increase in temperatures as sausage making requires. So come on in for a closer look. All right, this is a Little PK Smokehouse. This is made by Pro Smoker. Now, for those of you that don't know it, PS Seasonings was a smoker company before they were a seasoning company. There's actually two companies, but this is PK Smokehouse Pro Smoker. This is all stainless steel. Now, they build commercial smokers that are shipped internationally all over the world, but this is a home version, and it's ideal for backyard enthusiasts like myself when it comes to sausage making. All stainless steel. Now I believe these racks are a plated rack. I don't think they're stainless if I remember reading that right. It has a water pan here in the bottom. This is also a drip pan. It can double as both. They recommend you keep that wrapped in foil for easy cleanup. Now down here, this is your sawdust pan. And there's your burner. That is the heat source for this. So here's your basic functions right here. You got two different watch settings. You got your on off. This is where you will dial in your temperatures. It's even got some like quick read instructions here if you forget, like drying. If you want to dry your meat, it tells you exactly what to do about with your dampers, smoking, and then just cooking. And it even gives you some reference on cooking times and things like that. Now if you look around here on the back side, this is your damper. Now I'm getting ready to burn this in. It's a 3-hour burn in. It says to hold this at halfway open, so that's what we got there. And I'm about halfway on this bottom vent at the bottom of the door here. Now if you look at the casters, there's 4 swivel casters. This thing is easy to rotate, easy to move, and they are locking casters. I really like that. This is a well-built little smoker here. I can't wait to use it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the burn in going on this, and you'll see it back in play here a little while later, but we're gonna have to put some beef sticks together before we can smoke them. So as I said, I'm making beef sticks, and what I'm making exactly is this 7-pepper snack stick from PS Seasoning. This seasoning is enough to do 25 pounds, and it's 2 pounds. That's what it weighs. 2 pounds of this does 25 pounds of the beef sticks. All right, so what I have went and bought is just chuck roast. Now I was looking for something a little bit more leaner than this. On these beef sticks, you really want like 90% lean to about 10% fat, and I just absolutely could not find it. But I'm not too worried about it. I'm not going to use this bigger pieces of fat here. I'm just going to go with this marbling right in here. Same true with all of them. And I've got more than 10 pounds of meat here, so I'm going to cut out exactly what I need. And the thing about beef sticks is they're not going to be shelf stable, not like the ones you buy in your grocery store, like your Slim Jims and everything. Those have had preservatives added. They got certain procedures to make them stable like that. These vacuum pack, and you do want to vacuum pack them. These vacuum pack and put in your refrigerator will last 2 to 3 weeks. If you put them in your freezer, 8 to 12 months. And you can't just leave them out. I'm going to tell you that straight up. if you're not aware of that. So I've had the meat, it's all cubed up. I've had it in the freezer for around 40 minutes, just getting good and cold. And now I'm gonna put my grinder together. Put our hopper on top. I've got this, I'm not sure what they call this. It's like a jacket that I just keep it in the freezer, keeps it ice cold. Goes around this head here. Just ensures that all this stays really good and cold. All right, we're gonna shove all this meat over here, make room for our ground meat. Here we go. By the way, I'm feeding this through a 10mm grinding plate, and later on we're going to run it through a 4.5mm. This is probably going to be about a 85-15. It don't really look like a 80-20 or anything, but like I said, 10% fat is really what you're looking for. I'm just going to take and disperse this over the meat. All right, I'm gonna put some gloves on, and we're gonna give us a good mix by hand just to start with. All right, so just take and work that in. Best you can. All right, so once again, I'm gonna pile this up to allow room. I'm gonna go ahead and fill my hopper up too, and that'll allow me a little bit more room. All right, so I've got the 4.5mm. Screw our head back on. As you can see, that is a much smaller grind. By grinding it twice, it's going to start the emulsification of this, the protein extraction, even though we will do more later. Looks like store-bought hamburger meat, don't it? Well, what I'm going to do is put this back in the freezer, probably another 30-40 minutes, let it get good and cold. When I get back, we're going to put it in a mixer with the rest of the ingredients and get this mixed well, and from there we'll start stuffing these collagen casings. Meat's been in there, I know, 45 minutes, maybe longer, so what I've got here is my mixer. I've got it hooked to my grinder. Now it comes with a hand crank too, you know, most of them do, but since this will adapt to my grinder, guess what I'm doing? All right, here we go. We're just gonna load this meat in here. By the way, these seasonings smell incredible. I dug out the meat that was left in the grinder tube chute where you feed it. I formed it into a patty, and my wife actually cooked it, and she loved it. So that seasoning could double as a good burger seasoning as well. Right, this is where we add the sodium nitrite. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon. Let me measure that out. We're going to add that to our water, then another 1/4. All right, it's all dissolved into this 1 cup of water, and we're just going to pour it in here. So we're going to mix for however long it takes to get a good emulsion, get everything tacky. The water aids in that. So here we go. Been mixing for around 5 minutes. I just felt of it, and let me show you what I'm looking for here. This beauty of this one is it will tilt. So look at the protein extraction. It's just all holding together right there. Put it in your hand, it'll stick to your hand pretty much all day long. So that's what we want. Now what I'm going to do is get this blade out of here and scrape it down. Then I'll be able to take and get all this meat off of here. Alright, so I've had this piece that goes with my stuffer in the freezer for a long time, at least 3 or 4 hours. So I'm going to take this meat and we're just going to fill this up, And as I stated on my last video, this is only a 5-pound capacity, so I will have to stuff this twice before all this is completely done. Now you do want to take, before you get too much in there, and really poke that in there, work any air pockets out of this to help minimize air pockets in your casings. So let me go ahead and get this filled up. So on these beef sticks, we're using collagen casings. Last week we used the natural hog casings. These are also made by the PS Seasoning. They're available there on our website. So these do not have to be pre-soaked or pre-anything. You just simply take these, you start them on your tube here. Now these are 21 millimeter. We're gonna hold that right there. I'm gonna go ahead and clip this. I've been using the same cutting board. This is a disposable cutting board. Been using this through the whole process up to now. So I just took a Lysol wipe, I sanitized this, and we should be fine. I'm going to extend these out to the edge of this cutting board, and that way they're all pretty much the same and they will fit into the smoker. So we're gonna go ahead and get it started. All right, I got my son over here turning. This is just about a 2-man operation. I'm just watching the size of it as he's turning. There we go. One day I'm going to invest into one of those. Now when I tell you, I want you to back off on that handle. A little bit more. Hold right there. Back off. Alright, so we're just going to pull some of this excess out. Just like that. Give that a cut. And there we go. We got one stuffed sausage. Alright, so I end up putting some duck fat on this nozzle just to get a little bit of lubricant, and as you can see, that turned out pretty darn good. So I've got all this meat, we've got all these casings, so I'm going to start stuffing this, and next time you see me, we're going to take it to the next step outside on the smoker. Alright, so let's open her up. Our burn in is over with. I let it burn in for actually a little over 3 hours. I have dropped the temperature down to 100 degrees. I've got the bottom vent and the top vent completely open. What we're going to do is dry these out for around an hour. So I don't have no way to hang this yet, so what I'll be doing is finding me some rods that would go from here to here. That way I can actually hang sausage in here. So I cut these shorter on purpose because I knew I had to get them in this smoker. So what I'm going to do is just lay them right on the grates itself. These need to dry out for about an hour at 100 degrees, no smoke. All right, so I made some of these a little too long, and I ended up just cutting them in half and make them fit. Now I got to think, I said, well, shoot, down here I just went diagonal at an angle, and there was enough room, so I shouldn't have cut them. Should have just laid them diagonal. But what I should have done was measured the distance I needed and not went no further. But the next time I do this, I will have a hanging method to where that's not an issue. They can hang from here all the way down, so I can double up on them. You can always cut these down to the size you want them. Matter of fact, we're going to probably have about, 6-inch sticks when it's all said and done, and vacuum pack them. So let's get the flies out of here. Close this up. We're going to let this dry out for 1 hour from right now. All right, so what I've got in here is sawdust. This pan comes with this smoker, and what you got to do is wet it. You got to get it good and moist. As you can tell, that's good and moist. They recommend somewhere between 1/4 to 3/8 capacity of this, and I think that's about where we're at. We're about 3/8. So I'm gonna open this cooker up. All right, we'll put our pan in the bottom. Now I'm going to add some water to that water pan as well, but I'm going to go ahead and set my temperature first. I'm just going to close that one for now. We'll go in here and set this. We're going to set it again. We're going to raise our temperature up to about 125. All right, I just added some water to the water pan. I put 4 cups in there, and I ran a probe for my I don't know if you can see that, my thermometer right there. I run a probe down to the middle rack, and I've got one sausage right in the middle that I stabbed to monitor that internal temperature, and we're going to gauge all the sausage off that one single in the center. All right, as you can see, maybe you can see, we got a pretty good smoke, but it's a light smoke. It's just really what you want. Now, after 1 hour at 125, I went ahead and brought it up to 130, and right now it's showing 132, and it'll drop down to like 128, 129. It's holding right in that 3 or 4 degree range, which is really good. Can't ask for better than that. My internal probe on that one link in the dead center here is reading 113 degrees. Now, after it's ran 1 hour at 130 degrees, I'm gonna ramp it up to 150 for another hour. And then from there, we're gonna do 160 for 30 minutes, and then we'll finish it off at 180. But just so you know, I did close my lower and my upper vents. I closed them 2/3 of the way, so they're 1/3 of the way open. And we're gonna roll with that right there. I'm not gonna open the door, I'm not gonna look at them. I'm just trusting that everything is doing like it should. The whole thing about these collagen type casings is you can't bring it up real fast. You gotta bring it up slowly, let the casing actually bond to the meat. If you try to do it too fast, or if you get these too hot, you will rupture the casing, and that would not be good. So we're following procedure here. We're doing everything right. By the way, I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but this thing is fully insulated. Fully insulated. I mean, it's built in Wisconsin where it gets nice and cold, so it's definitely made for those kind of environments. So it's going to do really good down here in the South. I've been going another hour at 130, and what I want to do at this point is kick in this 1250 watts. I want to set this to 150. And we're going to run with that right there for another hour. Well, we have been going 1 hour exactly since I went up to 150, so now let's bring it up to 160. I'm not making any changes on the vents or anything at this point. I think most of the smoke is over with. I don't see really anything coming out other than maybe just a little bit of steam. That's what I feel is a little bit of steam. We're going to rock it at 160 for 30 minutes. All right, we have been another 30 minutes, and I just opened the door on this, so I'm losing a few degrees, and I had to add more water into the water pan. I wanted to check it, and it was dry, so I want to keep this humidity going. So let's go ahead and set this to its final setting of 180. Now here in about a minute, that reverts back to the actual temperature that's inside the smoker here. That's just where I have it set to. The actual temperature will automatically go back to that here in a minute. I'm up to 124 degrees internal inside my sausage, and at 155 in the middle I'm pulling these. All right, I have reached my target temp. We hit 155, just swung the door open. I've got some ice down here that's saturated in water. We're going to give this a real fast cool down. I'm gonna drop these in the water. I tell you what, these look great. Look at that. They're firm. Oh yeah. This water, this ice water is going to shock these. It's going to stop the cooking process. And the biggest thing it's going to do is stop them from shrinking. They're going to remain kind of plump, like the way you see them now. Those turned out absolutely fantastic. Let's get these under the water here. It ain't gonna take long for them to cool down. I'm gonna bring this inside. I just cut the power off on the smoker here. We're gonna shut it down. I'm gonna put everything up. Just let these hang out on the counter. I'll be back with you momentarily. Now this has been a long ordeal. I started this at about 9 o'clock this morning, and from the processing of the meat all the way to the drying out that first hour, and then the different stages working it up, then you know it took quite a while. It's what, 10:30 at night. I started at 9 o'clock. About 12 and a half, 13 hours from start to finish. But man, is it worth it. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I've already tasted this. I was floored. Here we go. Man. Now, I've eaten a lot of snack sticks at different convenience stores and whatnot. Man, this got them all beat. I know y'all think I'm just saying that. I'm telling you, this is good stuff. That casing, you can barely tell it's on there. A lot of these, you get it and it's tough and it's dry. This is really good. And it's dry for the most part, but there's probably enough moisture retention in there that it requires refrigeration. Like I said earlier, these ones you buy in the stores, they go, they have a lot of preservatives. They're probably gas. They have mega bucks invested in this equipment to have that shelf stable like that. So this is home stuff right here, and I'm very impressed. Really good. I'm very, very, very excited about this. Now I'm going to do a little quick recap to make sure y'all understood, not on the whole thing, just on the smoker part of it, and why it's important to do that when you're using these kind of casings. These casings, if you just put it in a smoker and think you're going to set it to a certain temperature and just let it rock, you're going to mess up. What's going to happen is your casing is going to cook before the inside has a chance to cook. It's going to end up splitting on you, rupturing. You're going to have a big mess on your hand. Now, I'm sure that having different levels in that smoker, some cooked at different temperatures than others because heat rises, right? But overall, hey, I'm very pleased with the results. I'm looking at them. Most of them look very, very good. I don't see no blowouts on any of them. Well, I hope y'all learned something from this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And hey, if you want to do something like this, check out PS Seasonings. They had the smoker, same smoker I use. They had the seasoning. They had stuff to do all kind of stuff with. Like I said last week, you're going to see a lot more from PS Seasoning. Until next time, Smoky Ribs Barbecue.